Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. Today I'm showcasing the December 2021 My Monthly Hero Kit from Hero Arts, and we're going to make a lot of backgrounds using gel press. Before I show you the cards, let's take a look of this month's release. So this is part of the My Monthly Hero Kit. It's a bold print, a 6x6 rubber stamp. There's a 4x6 stamp and coordinating dies along with a cover die. And here's the sample I had for the countdown that was on Saturday on my blog. So I used that background stamp die and I cut it from black cardstock. So next we had a warm welcome. Now we have the signpost stamp and cut XL. This is called Wherever You Go and also has coordinating dies. So neighborhood houses fancy dies. We have city window fancy die. Then we have open windows. The threefold edge city fancy dies. Now let me turn that around so you can see it a little bit better here. Then we have the City Park Heroes Scape and coordinating die. I have a sample using this stamp set also on my blog. I'll post a link in the description. We have Geometric City Bold Prints and we have the Signpost Wood Mount stamp. So let's start here. I have two gel presses to get the most out of the ink that I am applying. I have a 6-inch brayer and Hero Arts Die Shadow inks. So I'm using here Butter Bar, Soft Apricot, and Bubblegum. I'm using my brayer to spread that ink and blend the colors together, and I'm adding that bold print stamp on top to lift some of that ink so we have impression on our cardstock. I have a bunch of white cardstock pre-cut to A5 size, which is 5.5 by 8.5. So the first I get some kind of splotchy image. So my gel press was not really conditioned, but if you can see, the second impression came much nicer. So that a bold print stamp lifts ink up from the gel press, and when you apply the cardstock, after that you will have white impression, or those it will look like you have stamped in white. So I just cleaned my gel press. I'm repeating the same process, and also I don't let that ink on the stamp go to waste. If you notice that I added a piece of cardstock on top and I pressed and lifted that impression too. So in a very short amount of time and with very little ink, you can create a lot of backgrounds. So here I didn't reapply the ink, I just lifted the first one that came out blotchy, and then from the ink that was left on my brayer, I applied it again onto the gel press. Now stamp on top using the bold prints, and now I'm lifting it. So next what I'll do, I'll take that bold print, and I'll lift that impression too. I'm just pressing firmly, making sure that that cardstock doesn't move. So I'm again using the same ink from the brayer, and I just lift it without the impression. So let's do again. I want it a little bit more pink, so I'm adding more pink on top, and then blending the ink with the brayer and repeating the same process. So I'm adding it again from the brayer, using the stamp on top, lifting that print. Now lifting the print from the stamp, applying again the ink and just lifting it without stamping on top. Okay, now let's switch the colors. I decided to use Butter Bar, Orange Soda, and Ultra Pink. Those are brighter colors for more kind of bold impression. So again, I get a little bit splotchy, but it's much better. I haven't used my gel press in a while, so it's not really conditioned. and I don't think it was really stored properly, but it works just fine after the first print. So I'm repeating the same process just with different colors, and I'm just using as much as possible from that ink from the brayer so it doesn't go to waste. So always the first print is the boldest, and then we have more kind of subtle tones or more pastel colors. So now I'm using that second gel press that's on the right side of me, and I'm applying the ink. So I will be picking up the color from there with my brayer and applying it to the gel press on the left. I'm applying the stamp on top, lifting that image, that print, and now I'll do the same with the print from the stamp. Clean that stamp, again picking up ink from that gel press on the right, repeating the same process. Lifting the print, then lifting the print from that gel press without stamped image. Now lifting the print from the stamp. I still have some ink on the brayer, and I'm repeating again the same process, stamping, lift the print, and if you count, I came with more than a dozen prints here. So I'm repeating again the same process. Now I removed the butter bark and I replaced it with grape juice. So you can see there on the right the ink kind of pulled up, but I'm using the gel press on the left and I'm applying ink from the brayer. And I'm again repeating exactly the same process like we did before. Just lifting the print from the stamp, stamping, and repeating the same process. You can see how many prints you can get out of just one application of ink on your gel press. I just took a smaller gel press. I have a circle one, but we'll just use that one in a moment. I still had a lot of ink left, so I'm repeating again the same process here. So lift it from the gel print. Again, I'm lifting from the stamp. Now I'm adding to this little circle gel press, and I'm just stamping that circle onto cardstock. I still have more ink there. Just stamping directly onto that gel press and then lifting the print. Now lifting from the stamp. And there's still more ink left there, because this is like bolder ink, so we can get more backgrounds. Okay, let's switch the inks. Now I switched to navy, pool, and tide pool. I'm repeating the same process. I'm picking the ink with my brayer from the gel press on the right. It's a 6x6 gel press, and on the left I'm using 5x7 gel press. And exactly the same process like we did before. So you can use both in a way the positive and the negative of those prints from the gel print and from the stamp to create your cards. You can just add a simple sentiment and you're ready to go, or for my cards you will see in a minute that I use the cover die to create few cards, and I just use the background stamp prints with a simple sentiment to create a few more cards. You can make your cards as simple as you want or as fancy as you wish. I kept mine on the simpler side. I really like the backgrounds, so I just decided to let the backgrounds kind of shine onto my cards. And we're still doing the first application of ink here. You can see how many times you can lift those prints and how many backgrounds you can create with just one application of ink. So the bolder colors you use, the more prints you can get out of one application of ink. So I'll stamp on that one directly there and then lift that print. We're almost done here with the backgrounds, and next we'll move to picking which backgrounds to use and assembling our cards, where I'll speed a little bit faster because it's very simple. I mean, stamping, embossing, cutting, and assembling. It's not rocket science. So now I'm using that circle gel press. I stamp with the stamp and I'm lifted up that print. I'm lifting the last print from that circle gel press. So here, all the backgrounds we made in very short amount of time. I'm just selecting the ones that I like to use for my cards today, and I'll save the rest for future use. And I use one of those backgrounds without the bold print image for my add-on card that I have also on my blog using the Heroescapes City Park. So here I have that background die, the cover die, that I die cut several times. So for I stacked those 3 each. So I total had die cut 9 of the white frames and 3 on the pitch black frames. So I'm just trying to decide which frame to go where. Okay, I think that I decided for the 4 with the cover dies, and I picked 3 of the just the backgrounds to just use simple sentiments on them. So I'm picking my sentiments from the 4x6 stamp set that comes in the kit, and I'm using pitch black cardstock, ultra clear embossing and watermark ink, and detailed white embossing powder for my sentiments. So I stamped those several times onto pitch black cardstock and embossed them in detailed white embossing powder, as I just mentioned, and then just trim them up and add it to the cards. So here I'm showing you one, but I had stamped 3 sheets of cardstock, of A4 pieces of cardstock. And then for one of the sentiments, I die cut using the infinity circle dies, and the rest just using my paper trimmer. I made them into strips. So before we go onto the sentiments, I decided to adhere those cover die cut panels to the gel press backgrounds. So I'm just using liquid glue with very tiny nozzle applicator. So here you can see all the sentiments. I already cut them and they're ready to go. I have a bunch of leftover since I stamped 12 total, and we have only 7 cards, so we have 5 left. So I'm just trying to position where I want those to go, and then off camera I'll adhere everything together, add them to the folding card bases, and add some black enamel dots on some of them. So let's take a closer look at the finished cards that we have today. Sorry for moving the camera right there. So first we have the ones that are with the cover die and with the gel press prints, where we lifted the color using the bold prints stamp, and here just the prints, the cards using the bold prints stamp that we lifted the ink directly from the stamp. Here's another closer look at the cards we created today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this longer video. And don't forget to visit my blog for more ideas and more inspiration, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!